Would you like to make money, as in United States dollars? Perhaps you lost a little bit on Tesla stock? Well, today I will be introducing you to a brand new project called Fisherman Joe. You're probably asking, what is Fisherman Joe? Well, I'm here to explain that. Fisherman Joe is part of a collection of DeFi games that will be available on thegarden.finance starting soon. The Fisherman Joe games that take on the popular miner game, which is inspired by games such as Drip. Just for reference, this is what the Drip interface looks like. I'm going to be 100% honest, this looks absolutely horrible. Compared to The Garden, which has an actually epic background, this just looks very unprofessional. I mean, these blue boxes don't really fit in, and overall this looks like a huge scam, gonna be honest. So I have a lot of hope that this new project will be what Drip wanted to be, but way more legit looking and with better tokenomics. As you can see, this area is pretty cool. Background looks very epic, and it's still a very early project. It came out around the beginning of January. As you can see, there are two new games coming out, which I'm hoping will increase the price of the token. Hopping on over to the price, we can see that this project is very, very new. It's only 2 weeks old at this point. And we can see that the price has an all-time high of around $25, which it hit that on the 23rd, so very recently. Before, unfortunately, crashing back down to around $7. Personally, I would recommend you buy in to this token at around $5 because it is very volatile, and if you buy at the peak, then it's likely to crash in price again. So, going over some basic info about the token, the ticker is TGC. It's on the Binance Smart Chain, which is a chain that I'm seeing a lot of new projects spring up upon. Great thing about this chain is, first of all, you can send directly from Binance without worrying about using bridges and worrying about other fees. And yes, the fees on the Binance Smart Chain are quite low. We have a total supply of 100 million TGC, and I think the allocations are pretty nice because we have 10 million being used for development, and then we have 9 million being used for partnerships, marketing, promotional activities, liquidity management, so basically miscellaneous expenses. And then we have 81%, 81 million allocated to the community. I think that's a great split up because most of it is still going to the community while having enough to allow the project to thrive. You're probably wondering if this is going to be a rug pull like Time, which went from an all-time high of $9,000 to $387. I can assure you there are many measures in place in this project to ensure that does not happen. First of all, there is a 10% tax on sell and buy orders and a 5% tax when claiming your earnings. All taxes are deposited in the liquidity pool and will benefit the project directly. There's additional measures built into the actual Fisherman Joe app, which I'll talk about once we get there. But the bottom line is, you cannot guarantee that this will not become a rug pull. However, the way that the tokens are allocated and the way that there's a tax on selling and buying, it seems like this project should have a lot of sustainability in the future. Of course, you should do your own research before investing. Just for some reassurance, it is important to note that the more people that buy into this project, the higher the price will go and the more long-term the project will be. Right now, we're only 2 weeks into the project. If we look at the Discord server, it only has around 300 verified members. And if we look over at the actual number of unique wallet addresses, there's only 1.6k. I expect this number to rise drastically within the coming weeks as the team uses more funds towards marketing efforts. Looking over the roadmap here, we can see that Phase 1 is practically done at this point. The first game has launched, the token has been sold, 1,000 members have been reached, as we can see from the amount of unique addresses. It has been tradable on PancakeSwap, and there has been a little bit of development and marketing. However, we can see that in terms of Phase 2, we still don't have a CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap listing. We don't have 4,000 unique addresses yet, and there isn't as much a use case development as there could be. Good thing about this is it shows that you're still early into this project. Hopping over to the Fisherman Joe interface, basically, this is where you will be doing everything related to Fisherman Joe, including getting more fishermen and cashing out and compounding and everything related to this application. Also, the lore of this, if you're interested, is that Joe is a fisherman and he's looking to grow his business by hiring more of his fellow fishermen. Each time that a Fisherman Joe hire brings fresh fish to the table, it can be sold for TGC. Once you hire a fisherman, he will be working for you and bring you daily passive income of 3%. The yield can be reinvested to hire more fishermen and compound your earnings, or it can be sold. So, if you look at the FAQ, you will probably be very confused about how the price of the actual fish are determined. Essentially, the value of fishermen is fluid, and it depends on the demand for fishermen that day. Essentially, how many people are reinvesting or taking profit. Due to the nature of the project, there's a lot of fluctuation. But a basic way to calculate the daily 3% would be to divide your fishermen by the amount of fishermen for 1 TGC times 0.03. However, I think it's more important to look at the long term and see roughly how much you would make if every single one of your fishermen made 3% daily. So I have made a simple calculator to determine that, taking into account everything, including the number of days, the amount, the price of TGC before and after, and the taxes needed to take your profit. Now that you have an overview of what Fisherman Joe is, let's look at how much you can actually make from this project. Because as cool as the project is, the goal of getting into one of these projects is to make money. So I have the number of days that you're willing to compound without taking profit. All these calculations are assuming that you will not be taking profit until the period's over. Then we have the amount that you're investing, the daily interest. So this should be 3%. However, if you want to be conservative and put this at 2% or 1.5% just to see what would happen if the interest rate does drop for some reason, you can do that. You have the TGC price when you buy it and the price when you end. So this is an important thing to consider. The TCG price does not necessarily determine how much TCG you'll make, right? It's the fisherman price that will. However, when you decide to take profit, you do have to consider how much the price has dropped or gone up in value. So that's one thing you have to take a look at. And then we have, obviously, the ending calculation. So right now, you can see that after 7 days, you would have $116 from $100, which is pretty good. If we change this to 365, a full year, we can see an astronomical amount, $4.6 million. Now, I personally don't think that would be true. Personally, I think that, let's say that you bought at the peak of 25 and this went down to $5. This is more reasonable, but let's also assume that the interest rate went down to 1% based on averaging out the fisherman price at the time that you bought it. $100 to $717. This, to me, is more realistic. Now, that's why I said earlier that I recommend you get in on this at $5, because if this goes up, you're going to be making an astronomical amount of money, even if the daily interest rate does drop for some reason. Another thing is, obviously, if this goes to zero, like, you're not going to make... the entire project would fail and you would lose everything. So personally, I would take profit every 7 days. If we pretend that the price stays the same, and we've changed this to 3% because 7 days, 116. Also built into this calculator is a 5% tax, because according to the FAQ, there is a 5% tax when you are actually taking your profit. So that is something to consider. That is why the formula has that at the end. But overall, this looks like a very great project. Really, to me, the thing that you have to worry about the most is TGC dropping. I mean, even the price is $7 right now. It'll probably be different when you're watching this. If it drops to $1, I mean, you're kind of screwed. Really, as much as the team likes to say that the TGC price does not matter, when you're trying to figure out how much profit you're making, that is a huge factor. I recommend that you try to buy at a low price. I wouldn't just go in at the current price. I would honestly try to wait for $5 minimum. Otherwise, you're risking losing a lot of profit when you decide to cash out. In terms of the actual daily interest, I think that if you compound, the interest rate should balance out really because you're buying each day, you're buying a new one and earning 3%. So overall, I mean, you could mess around with this number, but maybe 2% would be more reasonable after factoring that some of your early fisherman purchases will likely not make as much. Overall, though, this looks like a very promising project, and I really encourage you to research this yourself and see if this is right for you. But I definitely think I'll put some money into this, and before we wrap up this video, I'll just show you how to actually get into this project if you decide to buy into it. Cool. So, if you stuck around this long, I'm assuming you're interested in getting into this project. There's a couple of important steps you will need to take before you're able to get started. First of all, you're going to have to set up a Binance account, either Binance.us or if you're outside the US, Binance Global. What this will allow you to do is add your bank account or credit card and buy BNB. Basically this is the coin of the Binance Smart Chain, which will be used to pay gas fees, which you will need when you are trading for TGC and when you are fulfilling any sort of transaction on this network. Once you have the BNB coin that you have purchased on Binance, and you can look up YouTube tutorials or Google it if you need help, you will be able to trade it for TGC. The next step, though, is to set up MetaMask, which MetaMask is a DeFi wallet designed to be used for multiple different chains, not just the Binance Smart Chain. However, once you get MetaMask, you're going to have to add a new wallet. You're going to have to add a new network, and you can look up the settings in Google. It should be the first result. This is official settings from Binance. Once you add all that information in, you'll be good to go to receive the token. So, once you're good to go with that, you should open MetaMask and copy your address. You want to send the BNB from the Binance account that you set up to MetaMask. This is pretty simple to do. Once again, I recommend using Google if you need any additional help with this. So, once you have sent the BNB over to KuCoin, not KuCoin, over to MetaMask, you will be good to go with swapping the BNB. So, this is where you will be going in order to swap the BNB to TGC, is go to the official website of the garden, and once you're on here, click buy at the top right. It'll take you to KuCoin, which is a decentralized exchange. What you're going to want to do once you get here is you're going to want to click auto slippage, which is basically needed to ensure the transaction goes through successfully. Now, you're transferring from BNB to TGC, so you're going to have to press in the top right to click and connect your wallet. You'll see a white button in the top right. Once you have attached your wallet, what you're going to want to do is ensure that you have $5 to $10 of BNB left before swapping. So swap everything except $5 to $10, which you'll need for gas fees later when you decide to transfer your money back. At this point, you will officially have TGC in your wallet, and you'll be good to go to get to Fisherman Joe and start getting fish. I'm back on the garden website after swapping your BNB for the TGC coin, and once you're here, I currently don't have any BNB in my wallet, but you will be able to confirm this transaction. You might have to press it twice. Once you have done that, you are officially ready to buy Fisherman. What you're going to do after approving is enter how many Fishermen you want to buy and press buy. It's as simple as that. Once you have Fisherman, you will be able to see on the top how many fish you're making, your hired fisherman, the TGC in your wallet, all your statistics, and you'll be able to either compound your fish daily, your fishermen daily, or you'll be able to sell directly from this window. That is obviously up to you, but as I have shown you in the calculations, I highly recommend that you compound for at least a week, and that is pretty much it at this point. Everything that you'll be doing from this point on will be in here. If you ever decide that you want to cash out, you'll just press sell your fish, and you'll go in reverse essentially. You'll go back on PooCoin, but this time you'll go from TGC to BNB. You'll get that into your MetaMask, and then once you have the BNB back in your MetaMask, you'll send it back to Binance and sell it to your bank account. I hope this video is informative, and I hope you learned something new about this new DeFi project. Personally, I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy at least $100 or so into this project because I think it has a promising future ahead of it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and I hope you have a great day.